Exiting the Underdark. The camera opens on a dimly lit forest clearing just outside a cavern entrance. The four Rockseer elves, a pale gray, slender, tall elf race, are being escorted by our heroes. Our heroes lead the Rockseers into the opening. The party of heroes consists of Ragnar, a deadly elf ranger, Alistair, a hulking human paladin, Reagan, a human warrior, Aether, a dwarf war priest, Thomas, a human cleric, Theo, a male human mage, Alana, a female elf thief, and Snagger, a beardless dwarf warrior. Following our heroes are four Rockseers: Darfayan, a deadly female elf warrior, Charmendaran, an elf male priest, Froin, a male elf wizard, and Kovinia, a female elf princess. Ragnar is pushed to the ground as a giant grizzly bear emerges from the bushes. The bear rises on his hind legs and falls upon Ragnar, causing Ragnar to fall onto his back. Pooh, the big grizzly bear, licked Ragnar, and they greeted each other with much love. Rockseers were scared and afraid until the party of heroes explained the bond between Ragnar and Pooh. The Rockseers took in every detail of the trees, grass, shrubs, and minor animals. The Rockseers have never seen, touched, or smelled such things, and even the moonlight impaired their vision. The party of heroes led the Rockseers deeper into the woods until they came to the newly renovated Broken Spire Keep. A new sign above the gates read, "Keep of Heroes." The Rockseers and our party of heroes rested through the day here under the cover of a roofed room. Only a handful of critters impaired the 4-day journey to a gray elf community in the high forest of Shem. Once the Rockseers and our party of heroes reached the elven community, a feast and celebration that lasted many weeks began. Food, wine, singing, and dancing of elves filled the air. Ragnar and Alana stayed among the elven community, while Reagan, Theo, Thomas, Alistair, Snagger, and Aether left for the town of Milborn, back in the Heronshire territory. This 4-day walk was filled with dangers and encounters. On the evening of the first day's walk, an evil necromancer cleric caused all but Theo to become charmed into fighting each other. Theo levitated 20 feet up, covered the ground with ice, and blinded Reagan, Thomas, Alistair, Snagger, and Aether. Aether slipped and fell on the ice, and Theo quickly knocked Aether unconscious with his staff. Reagan attacked Snagger with a sword but fell on the ice. Snagger tried to hit Aether but fell down. Thomas struggled to get up. Alistair awaited whomever decided to come his way. The party of heroes came to their senses as the Dark Disciple priest came into view. Reagan sent 2 arrows, and Aether sent a spear towards the priest, but they were deflected. The Dark Disciple cleric began casting a spell, causing the ground to turn up stones and dust. Thomas cast Dispel Magic, the shield and the spell ended. Aether rushed towards the Dark Disciple with sword drawn. Theo still levitated, and Thomas prepared spells. Alistair, Snagger, and Reagan struggled to stay afoot while closing in on the Dark Disciple. The Dark Disciple cast Flame Strike on Aether, causing harm. Theo unleashed magic missiles on the Dark Disciple, followed by Thomas casting Flame Strike. Aether, Snagger, Reagan, and Alistair finished him with their swords. The Dark Disciple lay dead as 6 zombie orcs appeared. Aether called upon his deity, and the zombie orcs imploded. Resting through that night, they saw nothing beyond birds, bees, squirrels, and rabbits during the next day. Evening comes, and 4 basilisks appear as they make camp. Snagger looked at them and was turned to stone immediately. Reagan and Alistair engaged the basilisks with their swords. Aether, Thomas, and Theo remained back casting spells. Alistair was overwhelmed by the basilisk's breath and fell dead. Reagan found the continual light spell on his shield blinded the basilisks. As Reagan backed away, he tripped over Alistair and was turned to stone when he saw a basilisk. The battle continued. Aether, Thomas, and Theo finally killed the basilisk, while Thomas used a spell. Aether did much damage to another basilisk, and Thomas finished it. Theo cast a spell killing the last basilisk. Theo used a scroll to cast Stone to Flesh on Reagan. A tiny cottage appeared, and Snagger's stone statue was placed into the cottage. A makeshift cot was used to carry Alistair, and the cottage shrank to a hand-sized item for Theo to pocket. Making camp the last time before reaching Milborn, they encountered an aboleth. Thomas, Theo, Aether, and Reagan battled and killed the aboleth. They continued without further stops. Milborn came into view, a city with a wooden palisade and gates, guarded by men with bows. Inside the city, Alistair was resurrected, and Snagger was returned to flesh. Snagger and Aether joined Grizzler, a battle-hardened dwarf warrior. The dwarves shared laughs and stories. Tama sought time in the temple. Theo joined Toster to learn more spells, and Reagan updated notable citizens. Alistair rested in the temple. Ragnar and Alana escorted the Rockseers back to the cave entrance. They then traveled to Milborn. The group reunited at a local tavern and planned their next steps into the Underdark.